What is up, survivors? We are back. We're going to do another top 5 base location. This time it's going to be a Scorched Earth. We're slowly going to move our way through all the maps, basically, is what we're going to do. So here, on Scorched Earth, we're going to go through 5 base locations. Now, these base locations aren't in any specific order, as mentioned before, just areas that I usually try to build around or that I think are cool. And there's obviously something going on around here. Oh, jeez, wow. Okay, all right. Well, anywho. This area is one of the main areas, one of the first areas I usually try to steer towards, and it can be a little bit dangerous at times, but it's actually not a bad place, mainly because there's water nearby. Scorched Earth and water is kind of a rarity, but we're here at about 73, 68-ish. There's going to be a little bit of a lake here. A couple things to pay attention to. You're going to see capras out here on the water, and obviously you're going to see raptors predominantly, so you're going to want to be a little bit careful as far as where you're building at. You can be a little safe, and you don't necessarily have to build on the water. It's just nice having it here. So you could build definitely more, maybe more where the Titanosaur is, and then even up on these, even up by the cliff edges as well if you're looking for a defense. But the easy access to water source is definitely appreciated. As far as resources go, there's going to be some metal nodes scattered around, and obviously you're going to have wood and stone, bushes for berries and fiber and whatnot, but that's pretty much it. That is kind of the bummer, but the trade-off is being near water, which is incredibly useful on this map. Coming in on our second spot, this is actually directly under Green Knob, and I'm actually going to lift up a little bit so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I usually pick this spot right here. It's nice and flat, you got plenty of room, it's right by water. There are metal nodes all around this outside here. Let me pull our GPS up so you guys can see where I'm at. So right about here, looking at about 4973-ish, right around this general area. Down on the water, again, you will see capras and things like that, but the instant access to water, the instant access to an obelisk is kind of nice. You're going to see metal nodes all around this bone. So there's scattered metal nodes kind of all around this area, which is kind of nice. You have a couple of oil deposits that are right here as well. Skirting on this other side over here though, and this is basically on the other side of Green Knob, which requires a little bit of travel to get up to, but you'll see even more metal nodes. There'll be more oil veins as well. You got plenty of that running around here. The kicker really around here is there isn't a terribly lot of like obsidian and things like that, but for metal, oil, stone, wood, thatch, all that good stuff, it's actually a pretty good spot. Plenty of oil nodes in this general vicinity. The oil fields are kind of all over the place. Obsidian you will find, if we go back to where I was talking about, obsidian you will find periodically straight ahead at that plateau over there. So it's not too far the way out. And if you really have to, you have the mountains obviously to fly out to. But for a good location, this is it's reasonably safe, close to an obelisk, and you got plenty of room to build. This is usually my go-to, honestly. Go-to is usually go here, get some sort of flyer to fly out for resources, and that's pretty much it. One of my other locations that I'm kind of situational with this is this trench right in 3350. Let me see if I can pull up the map so you guys can see where I'm at. Right in this northern part of this trench. What I like about this trench is that it's a constant water going all the way up and down, and it's kind of secure too. So you have these cool scenic little waterfalls, and they're spread up and down this valley here. So we get it all the way down here. So you get these cool little streams that kind of poke out into the water. You will find silica pearls in the bottom of these too, so silica pearls are going to be a thing out here. Plenty of metal. Metal's going to be scattered around on the other side and then up on the cliffs above. That's pretty much it as far as what's down here. But the nice thing about this is we are close to the mountains, so we do have mountains nearby for crystal obsidian and all that good stuff. So not a bad spot. I kind of like to, when I build here, and tuck up to the back as much as I can, because sometimes you'll get creatures that fall off the edge. But you could even build above this too, right? So the idea is that your water's right here. You could build on top of this land bridge here, or even some of these over here. But this general area is what I would say. This map is very situational. I like to be close to water when I'm using this map, when I'm here. But you can kind of, with irrigation pipes, you can kind of make anything work. But anyhow, this general trench is probably anywhere in this trench is kind of one of my favorites over here. Our number 4 slot is right underneath another obelisk, right underneath the red ob, sitting at about 7139. This is a nice spot. Again, water resources being nearby, the obelisk being right by. The nicer part about this obelisk as opposed to green is while it's a bit more hazardous to be over here, you're closer to the Wyvern Trench and you're more likely to see rock golems. You are right by the mountains, and the mountains really mean high-end resources. So all of your obsidian, your crystal, and things like that are going to be here, plus tons and tons and tons of metal are going to be around this area too. So there's a huge potential for long-term base locating right around this general area. I usually kind of, I don't know, maybe build on one of these kind of cliffs over here, but you pretty much have free reign. It's not terribly flat either. That's the other kind of a bummer about this part, but you could do something up in the back against here as well, like up on one of these little plateaus back here. But this general area seems to be really fitting. Again, the obelisk being right by, the Wyvern Trench being right by, high-end resources being nearby. As far as location goes, you know, we kind of balance that safety versus access sort of situation, at least in a PvE standpoint. And this seems to be one of the better places. It's a little bit harder to get established, but once you do, it's pretty darn reliable. One of the last places I like to build, and this is right here at 5025. This is more of, I just like the area and the feels of it. Water's definitely going to be an issue here. This is the one build spot that I didn't tag water in. What I like about this is while I'm still backed up to the mountains for resources, I have this cool little ruin to build around and a decent flat area on top of here to build on, like a nice little, not too much change in elevation, plenty of space to build in. All of my resources are going to be nearby. The mountains are around me supplying all of that stuff. And you end up with what I like, a really good scenic view out here, which is really cool. You have the mountains to the back of you and you have all these peaks coming out in front of you. Really good location. You're gonna see some of the more angrier beasts over here, so that's something to be careful of. Rock golems are gonna be aplenty. And then the other thing to note is that the Wyvern Trench is literally right behind you, so you are gonna have to worry about that as well. But this is one of my favorite spots too. I would say this is more for the location, really. I really like the way it looks. Water's still gonna be kind of a pain in the butt over here because there's no direct access to water. But all in all, that's it. I like it. It seems to fit well. Like I said, it's really the vantage point that I really like. There are other builds on this. There are plenty of other places to build that work on this map. These are just happen to be the ones that I tend to like. And the reason why is because I like to be down towards the basic materials. Like I can fly out and get other stuff if I have to, but the bare necessities I hate having to fly out for. So definitely wood, stone, berries, all that good stuff, the silk, because we're on Scorched Earth. All of those options are definitely crucial. I would say if you're new to the map, maybe build on one of the ones closer to the water. If you're a bit more experienced and you can handle the water consumption and storage, I would say maybe around there might be a little bit better for you. But there are plenty of other cool locations up in these mountainous areas that you could build in. There's also like a tucked little where is it? Another one to note is probably right around in this area too, where a lot of resources are if you wanted to build something in there. Building up in the mountains is definitely going to keep you away from, you know, building up high basically so that you can't be flanked or have enemies drop on you is pretty nice. But there's plenty of other little options out here that'll keep you separated from danger for the most part. These are just the areas that I like the best. But that's it, guys. This is my top 5 build locations on Scorched Earth. Now, again, I know there's plenty of other places. Maybe you got some better ones. Feel free to shoot the coordinates in the comments. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you on the next one.